Happy Thursday. No, Friday. Nina's on the ball. Nina is correcting me immediately. Happy Friday, Believe Nation. Friday's my CEO day. You want to say hi, Nina? No? Wow. Anyway, happy Friday. Friday CEO day. We're going to do a special Q&A session. Oh, hold on. Let me put this. Ask us. Hold on. Ask us your questions. Put that in. Let's hold on. Let me pin that. Let me go find Mark. We're doing a special Q&A session with the one and only Drakkar, who's about to join in. Antonio, let's go. I like it, dude. I like it so much. Get your questions ready. Pop it down below. It's happening.
It's happening. Here we are.
Oh, wow. You're very loud. Hold on. Let me turn that down. There we go. No, that's okay. Then I have to turn you up. We got the both. Is there volume on this thing?
Yeah, it's right here.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. You go down for down. You go up for up. Look at that.
I didn't know that.
You double click it and it'll change to the next track for when you're running.
Why would you adjust your volume when the other person could adjust their speakers? Like, when would you need to adjust their volume if you're too?
No. This doesn't adjust your volume for send. It's only how loud it is in your ears.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. I thought you were adjusting your mic volume. Like, it has a mic volume on that?
No. Anyway, welcome to the Something to Prove podcast, Friday edition, where we hit your questions, and then later it goes out onto our podcast that Evan and I host. My name's Mark Drakkar. You can find me on Instagram at Mark Drakkar.
So formal. So formal. All right. Okay. Ask us your questions. Pop them below. We'll do our best to get to as many as we can. Are we going rapid fire? Or are we spending time on each of these?
Whatever you want, man. However you're feeling today. I can't tell how you're feeling today.
I just go with your flow typically. All right. Okay. First up, Ahmed. How to deal with emotional insecurities.
Wow. I'm like the mayor of emotional insecurities.
Kicking us off. How to deal with emotional insecurities. Okay. Let's hear what Mark has to say.
All I can tell you is how I deal with it myself, because for everyone, it's going to be personal and you have to figure out what works for you. So for me, I try to figure out, is this rational or not? In most cases, your fears and your insecurities aren't really rational. And so I try to figure out, is there any truth to this? Is there something that I'm not doing? Is there something I should be doing? Am I not as good as I think? And I try to get to if there's anything rational about it. And if it's not rational, then I try to take myself back and I try to think, okay, if I had a friend or my wife or my kids or anyone I loved going through this, what advice would I tell them? Because it'd be pretty clear to me that this isn't a rational thing. This is a silly thing. And there's a next step that they should do. And then I have to kind of listen to my own advice. Now, if this is rational and there is some worry, some fear, then the next step becomes, what action can I take to overcome this? What can I learn? What can I practice? What should I start doing? What should I stop doing? And then you can start doing those tactical things. But for me, it all starts with trying to figure out, like, what is the real root cause here?
I really like what advice would you give to somebody else and then go do it yourself. I don't like the rational part. So what I would do is, because I think a lot of the emotional insecurities happen so quickly and you can't be rational about it. By the time you're rational about it, the moment's passed. And you can also find super rational reasons for why you shouldn't do the thing.
I think if you're talking about the moment, but for a lot of us, our insecurities are things we're working through, hour by hour or day by day, or it's the same thing. It's 5 days later and we're still working through the same problem. You may be very quick to like spot it, crush it, move on, but
that's what I'm saying.
Later, and we're still dealing with the same thing.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's taking too long. It takes too long. I want to shortcut it. I don't want to sit with it for 7 days.
Now, I'm not telling people to sit with it for 7 days. I'm saying they're sitting with it for 3 days, and in that time, they can say, hold on a second. I'm feeling this way. I'm worried about this thing. I'm reacting this way. I'm getting really anxious or depressed, or I snapped at someone when I shouldn't have. Now let's think, what's the root cause for this?
Yeah, and then you can also find a rational way to stay in your insecurities. Because you're right. You don't have the education. You're right. You're not good enough. And so you should quit.
And if these are rational things, then you take tactical, rational steps to overcome those things. If it's an irrational thing, then you give yourself the advice you'd give anyone else who's not in an emotional state to deal rationally.
This is the same thing as you on the treadmill, telling yourself rationally. Throw back to episode 86 of the Something to Poo podcast, where Mark Drakkar was on the treadmill. Bless you, Nina. And he's saying, hey, I just compare what difficult thing I did to difficult things I've done before, and that'll give me the confidence and courage to go off and do the difficult thing. The next difficult thing. And I said, no, that's garbage. That's too rational, because you're not going to believe it, because you're going to be there in the moment and then not do it, because it's not going to be enough. And the solution is just Mark Drakkar does difficult things. And so the next week, Mark was on the treadmill, and he was trying to run at the highest incline and highest speed he's ever done. And he's struggling, and he feels he can't do it. And so he tries his rational approach and tells himself, I've done hard things before. I've done all these difficult, of course I can do this thing. And it didn't work. Until he said, screw it.
Mark Drakkar does hard things.
Mark Drakkar does hard things, and then boom, he's doing it. Your rational brain will let you down because you'll find really smart reasons why you can't win, because you'll tell yourself, what I did before is different than what this thing is in front of me right now. So the answer is through. The answer is because you're insecure, therefore you must do it with no logic. And just teach yourself to go off and do it. Because you attack insecurities, period. You don't need a logical reason to attack them. You just do. Mm-hmm. Shortcut the thinking, because your brain will keep you safe and keep you small and keep you protected and keep you from accomplishing your dreams. Period.
Drop the mic.
Next. All right.
It's fun when I play devil's advocate and then get you all riled up.
You're fine. Okay. Antonio, let's go. Where do you guys see yourself in 10 years? Where are you in 10 years, Mark?
I don't know if I look that far ahead. Like quite honestly, I know all of the things that I want to have accomplished and will be bitterly disappointed if I don't even come halfway to them, but they're not crystallized goals in terms of money targets. I have revenue targets within my company, but even then 10 years is I don't know what the world's going to be like in 10 years. I don't know. Better than I am now. That's my goal. I'm focused on this year and next year.
I think if you know where you're going to be in 10 years, you're thinking small. Because you don't know what you're capable of doing in a 10-year window. Antonio, we did a one-on-one, like a couple of them. Dude, think about where you were 10 years ago. That's Antonio in 2010. Crazy. Dude, Antonio in 2010. Go back. Antonio in 2010. Antonio in 2010, with all the crap you've been through, and I know at least some of the story, in the past decade, you could not have said Antonio 2010 would be where you're at now, Antonio 2020. There's no way. And so if you're growing every day, there's no way you know what Antonio 2030 is going to look like either. He's giving the heart emoji in the chat. So don't worry about it. Don't stress out about having I think if you have a 10-year goal, you're thinking small. To know what you're capable of in a 10-year window, I think is ridiculous if you're growing every day.
I will say, though, when we went to Tony Robbins, he asked us to set these goals, these lofty goals, these crazy goals. And while I was doing the exercise, I set it for retirement. And then I doubled it, and then I quadrupled it, and then I made it from retirement to a 10-year goal. And that scared me enough to go, oh man, the life I'm living, the company I have, the path I'm taking will not even get me to the goals that I want to have. And so I didn't crystallize it enough to say this is the 10-year goal, like locked in stone, but I am thinking big enough to think I have to change what I'm doing to even be on the path to where I want to be later in life. And so in some regards, it's good to have an idea of that direction. You say swim forever. So you never know what the destination will be for you, but you kind of know the direction you're heading. Well,
of course, is the mission. The mission is to help entrepreneurs believe in themselves for the rest of my life. Like that will never get old. But there's nothing wrong with setting goals. The problem is if you set a 10-year goal for yourself, you have to be willing to jump off 18 months in because it's not actually the right fit for you anymore. That's the danger. You can have whatever goal you set right now for yourself in 10 will be small compared to what you're capable of achieving. You just haven't grown into that person yet, but you will. And so the danger is sticking to that goal to say, this is where I need to be. Meanwhile, you should have done 1,000 times bigger if you were just willing to pivot. So it's not that the goals are wrong. It's just you have to be willing to jump off 3 days in because you've grown, learned something more, and now you're better.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Okay. 3 colors, easy. How do you get verified on TikTok?
I don't know. Google how to get verified on TikTok. I don't know.
Yeah, it helps if you're verified on other platforms first. I wouldn't try making TikTok my first.
Are
If
you
you're verified
on TikTok?
Yeah. But
so was it just an application process?
Yeah, and it's I show everything else that I've done. Instagram is the hardest. So I would start with, what was the easiest one? Probably Twitter.
Twitter was the easiest for you at the time, you said.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried doing Twitter first. And listen, like you have to have to be verified, you have to have some kind of status or you have to be known. It has to be that you might be confused for somebody else. That if there's an Evan Carmichael, fan account or something, that there might be confusion, right? That's who gets it. So I would apply for Twitter and see if you can get it. But if not, don't stress out. Like, don't make that your goal. Be the guy who should be verified because you're creating so much awesome content and you are building your brand and getting known that then you are a celebrity in your niche. That's most of the answers for most people. All right. Next. The world's greatest Mr. Dupree in the house. What a name. I love it. Okay.
That is such a good name.
Okay. What would be good marketing? What would be a good marketing tip for doing new content releases? What would be a good marketing tip for doing new content releases?
So it depends on what type of content you're talking about. So if you're talking about blogs or white papers or written content, it's different than if it's IG, which is different than if it's YouTube or audio podcast. But here's one tip that we do. So for a lot of our clients who are writing blog posts or who's writing content or creating any page on your website, you release regularly. So you release weekly or bi-weekly or once a month or whatever it is. Then what we do for our clients is we'll release a post every week, and then we'll release that organically. And then the posts that have the highest engagement or ranking, we take that post and then we do Google display remarketing against that post. So anyone who's hit the website in the last number of months will then see in display as they're off on other people's websites, if they're on HuffPost or they're all on these other places, they're going to see the ads for that specific topic. And we change out the topics every month. So we are writing blog content, we're putting it out of the world, whichever one ranks the best organically, we pick that topic, and then we create banners, and then we remarket to the people who came to the website in the past, and we change it every single month. And that is so cost effective. It is so cheap. Like we're talking like 13 cents to bring someone back to the site to see a new topic, and we're engaging and engaging and engaging and engaging and engaging, and it works really, really well.
So one, I would say you have to win on platform. So if you want to grow your Instagram, then focus on winning on Instagram, not on trying to get people from your Twitter to go over to Instagram or from your YouTube to go to Instagram. Win on platform. So understand how to win on platform. I built my Instagram not by pumping it out on my YouTube channel all the time, by creating awesome content Instagram in a group. It's super hard to get people to switch platforms because they're just not in that consumption mode at the moment. Somebody who's scrolling through Instagram doesn't want to go to YouTube and watch a 20-minute video. I like Mark's point. To make it a little more generic, I'd say you have your long-form content. So if you take it into Instagram, you're making a video, and then you cut it down to, you look at the comments and see what quotes people are saying. When you said that, it's awesome. That becomes your next picture, right? So you create long-form content, you pay attention to what people are saying, what they're interacting with, and you turn that into shorter-form content and double down on the stuff that's working. The other thing I would say is reuse the stuff. Every weekend, we're reposting some of our best stuff that we've used before. And guess what? It crushes again. Right? So don't assume that all your followers saw every single post that you ever put up And then don't assume that just because they saw it 3 months ago that they still don't need the message now. And they got it. Now they're living that life, right? So repost your best content. All right. Madhav 2205. How to deal with problems of unrequited or one-sided love. I don't know what unrequited means, but one-sided love. How to deal with problems of one-sided love.
You can't. The only person you can change is yourself, right? And so you can try to woo the other person. You can try and bring them to your way of thinking. You can be there for them. But if you feel about someone a way that they don't feel about you, that's never going to work out for you unless you're comfortable with that. It's unbalanced. You are giving yourself to someone who's not returning it. And so I don't see a situation where long term you're going to feel fulfilled or happy or not feeling like you're being taken advantage of. And so every relationship, no matter the type of relationship, requires both people to bring something to it. And so as hard as it may be, there's no way to make someone fall in love with you who's not in love with you. And there's no way to win someone back who was in love with you and is no longer in love with you. And there's no way to fix someone or to change them. All you can do is be there for them. You can control yourself and you can make the decision, is this worth it to you? You know, like if you think you want to put up with that and it's worth it for you because you're willing to be that person and love that person even though they won't love you back. And that's something that you're willing to do, then you can do it. But you are wasting your opportunity on this person when someone else is out there who will come along and reciprocate it.
The immediate thought that came to mind when I read this, and I don't know if it's too controversial, but I feel it's the right answer, at least for this person, is if you love somebody, you want to be in a relationship with somebody, but they don't love you back, then you don't love yourself.
You've said that before, so that's not that controversial.
Is it? I feel like that if so much of your, like the problem is your self-worth is tied up too much in this person loving you back. The problem is actually you don't love yourself enough to know that there's somebody better for you, to settle for a relationship with someone who doesn't love you. This is a self-love problem for you, and you have to fix that. Not fix the other person, get them to love you more. That's a good answer.
That's not controversial. I think
is
that's
it?
true. I think
All
that's
right.
true.
Well, then I'm a fan. All right.
You're a fan of your own response. Good work, Evan.
I think you should be a fan of your own work.
I know you do.
You should be a fan of your own work, guys. You should be a fan of your own work. You should look at your own. What was the last thing that you made that you looked at and said?
We talked about this last week.
No,
you brought up the thumbnail. And
but that's a whole week ago, dude. That's a whole week ago. What's the last thing you made that you just went back to look at and say, man, I'm proud of that?
This morning.
What did you make this morning? Something for me, I hope.
No, I'm working on our new digital funnel report that gets everything onto a single page, and I love it. I love it. I'm playing. I'm not wasting time, but man, is this thing going to be amazing? Oh, so good, Evan.
I'm going to get to see it though, right?
It's literally in the background behind you right now.
I'm going to get to see it though, right? Like I'm one of the people going through the funnel, right?
Yeah. You'll be able to see it.
Okay, good. Yeah, guys, you should be proud of your own work. You should be proud of your work. Okay. Okay, what else? Next, Oak Beach. How do you stay motivated if everyone else around you fails and gives up?
Oh, I love that. How do I stay motivated when everyone else is giving up? I say, look at how much better I am than all these losers who are giving up.
Wow.
I love it.
Wow.
I love it so much. And I know inner strength. I know you're not supposed to compare yourself to each other, this or that. But listen, man, if you are still going when no one else is, you can say, well, I've got a little bit more. I'm still better than everyone else. So you can say, I am so much better than these people. This is the hustle that will take me further. This is the grit that everyone else is lacking. And I just feed off of that. I love it so much. It's the reason why on vacation, I get up like 2 hours early just so I can walk around the resort when everyone else is sleeping and hungover and go, look at how much better I am than everyone else because I'm awake and they're sleeping and hungover. It's irrational, but I love it so much.
It's hilarious. That's the David Goggins taking souls.
Yes, it is. It's not the healthy answer, but it's the one that I love.
How do I stay motivated if everyone else around me is failing and giving up?
That would actually bring you down, Evan, because you believe in others more than they believe in yourself. You'd be running, you'd see someone fail and give up, you would stop what you were doing, and you would try and pick them up and help them out. As long as there's a little sliver of hope, you will give endless amounts of time to people if they're not if you feel that they're not letting themselves down enough and letting you down.
As long as they're making progress.
Yeah.
As long as they're moving forward. Yeah. As long as they're moving forward. But it doesn't impact my motivation to go off and do my thing. Like, I don't feel worse about myself or the work that I'm doing if somebody around me is failing or giving up.
Yeah. But you're also a pretty strong person who, as someone said in the comments here, surrounds yourself with strong people too.
So the how do I stay motivated? My motivation doesn't come from the people who are around me. I mean, there's been some circles, like when I went to Puerto Rico, when I'm hanging with people who are doing a lot more than me, I get motivated to want to do more, I guess. But if people around me sucking, I think I just try to give. I try to help.
I don't know, if you were hanging out with Brendan and Dean, and you're sitting there and they're just like, they're all down and giving up on, see, they would never give up on life. They would give up on a tactic or a small thing, but they would still be like, what's next? Let's go. What's the answer? So like, I think this person's surrounding themselves with people who are giving up on life or the dream or the big thing or that change can happen. They're just giving up. And so I go to the gym and I listen to people complain about showing up to the gym, and that doesn't unmotivate me. I turn to them and I say, why? Like, you're here. Why are you complaining? You're here. You're doing it. You're doing it just like I am. Let's go. And if they still complain, then I look at them and I go, oh man, I'm so much better than that. Watch me crush this.
Yeah, I think the problem with this question is you're getting too much of your motivation from the people around you, as opposed to you having an important mission and dream for your life that you want to go and chase down.
Maybe the people in this person's life, their dream won't work, or they shouldn't do it. In which case, you got to cut those people out of your life.
Maybe. I think you just see some quitting. Okay. Coco, a friend of mine has started a new business and invited me to support it. It feels so one-sided, no win-win. How do... And then it gets cut off because it's too long.
That's fine. So your friend has a business. They've invited you. It feels one-sided. I'm guessing you feel like you're giving too much and you're not getting anything for yourself. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Mm-hmm. If you're not excited about it, don't be excited about it. If you're excited about it, if you love the idea, if you feel fired up by the idea, then approach the person and say, hey, this is our business. This isn't your business. And we will do this together, or you will do it without me because you believe in it. Like, all of the excitement and everything that you want to pour into it, you have to be transparent and open and be honest with them. But if it feels one sided and you feel like you're being taken advantage of and you're not that excited about it, don't do it. Don't do it. Go off and do something else.
Yeah, Mark and I recorded a podcast yesterday, our full podcast, episode 97. Go check it out. It's awesome. It's not out yet, but it's coming. What episode is it?
Evan just makes up numbers. We're on
we close?
3, episode 9.
So what are we? What number is that?
I don't know. We did.
Great.
Well, we did 22 the first season, 28 the second season, 9 in. So all of these Q&As. So I don't know what that adds up to.
That's probably pretty close. Anyway, I was pushing Mark to go out and do more outreach to people, to have as guests on his new podcast that he wants to be launching. And he said, well, that's so spammy. So I don't want to spam people. I said, well, Mark, hey, is there a way that you could reach out to people and bring value to them and show them some love and invite them onto your podcast without appearing spammy? Yeah, great. Go do that. That's the whole podcast in a nutshell. Go watch it. So same thing for you here. Learning to have difficult conversations is a fantastic skill for life because you're going to need to have them with your friends and your family and your relationships and your coworkers and your team and your customers and your suppliers and your investors in the media. There'll be lots of difficult conversations that you have to have. Shying away, staying in the thing, doing what you don't want to do is never going to be the best solution for yourself or the relationship. So to take the same advice that Mark has taken, is there a way that you can be truthful with your friend without coming across as selfish, without hurting their feelings, without attacking them and making them feel bad? Yes. And at the same time, standing your ground and not doing things that you don't feel are fair. Of course. Great. Go do that.
The follow-up they said was, how do I deal with it without ruining the friendship? If you do everything Evan just said and are open and honest and it ruins the friendship, then I'd have to question the strength of the friendship to begin with. You know, like if they're a really good friend and you're being open and honest and you're trying to explain and make it up to them in whatever way, like that's the test of how good the friendship really is. And if they can't survive that, then I don't know if you should be spending this much time worrying about it.
Yeah, like, listen, 30 minutes ago, Mark Drakkar called me on my Facebook.
Because it was important.
And newsflash, was not important.
It was important.
He asked me a question that I did not in the moment care about or even have the answer to myself personally.
I was trying to get to the bottom of something for Evan on his behalf so I could get him an answer to a question that he had. It was important.
It's important for Mark.
I made the decision to call. No, I made the decision to
call.
call.
I know.
Should I call or not? No, I'm going to call. Here we go. I got the answer. And texted you the answer then.
It was 100% the wrong decision. So when somebody, you can't call me. I don't have a phone number. You can't reach me. So and nobody calls me on Facebook, maybe except Mark. But when something comes in, it's like, oh, this must be like life or death. I'm going to drop everything that I'm doing and see what's happening because this must be insanely important.
Very important.
And not even important enough that this isn't even like 24-hour window important, right? Like this is email level of importance. Like, listen, we'll get tomorrow, fine, whatever. No. Not even text, let alone call and interrupt. Because what I'm working on is super important.
We sound like an old married couple right now,
yeah.
but
here's the thing. To Mark's point, like
I didn't have the answer to, and it was very important that I got you the answer, and I was digging into it, and I had to ask you a question.
But this is the thing, Coco, right? Like it's really important to your friend. It's not as important to you. This is really important to Mark. Not important to me right now. Definitely not even important in the grand scheme of things, and definitely not right now.
But I was doing it for you. It's not even like it's important to me for me. It's important for you to get you the answer.
The totally wrong decision, and with anybody else, might have ruined my friendship.
Over that?
Yeah. So Mark followed up with another like a text message with a picture. I'm not even looking at any Mark's Facebook messages all day because he interrupted my day with a phone call.
To answer your question for you.
But we'll recover and it won't ruin the friendship. So to Mark's point, is there enough of a...
He was pretty salty on the call. He was pretty salty.
Oh yeah. Like this is not like, this is totally the wrong decision. Anyway, but the friendship will recover from this gross injustice that was done.
Okay.
And to Mark's point, if they can't get over that, then maybe you should be friends.
Wow.
I'm glad we worked that in. I feel so much better now. This is therapy.
I knew you were holding on to it. I knew you were. That's why at the beginning of the podcast I asked, "Are you okay?" I could tell you were upset.
Great. Good. See, that's what a good friend does too. They know when they pissed you off too and made the wrong move. Okay, good. Okay.
I got you your answer.
Last question. Glow up with Jay. What does your travel or event schedule look like now as far as the States?
I was supposed to go away on my on my 20th anniversary with my wife, not to the States, but to St. Lucia. That's been canceled. We have a project that's supposed to be shot in San Antonio in June. We just had a call this morning. We don't know if that's going to be happening. We don't know. We don't know what the next few weeks or few months hold because our borders are closed up here in Canada.
They're not quite closed. You can fly across the border.
You can travel for business if you have business reasons and a CEO sign off or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, or if you fly private, the restrictions are a lot less.
Okay.
I just found out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I have no plans right now. I had lots of speaking gigs and events, and there's still events that I'm supposed to be at that are upcoming and are in the air. It's like, are we going to continue? Are we going to cancel? Our city, they're talking about canceling everything until the next year, even. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until then, it's all like I was supposed to speak at an event in New York called People of Video. I think in May, and obviously it's canceled. Nobody's going to fly to New York. So last night I did an online version of it and did a 5-on-1 consult with other YouTubers who are growing their channel, and I helped them. And that's going to be, they're just moving their event online. So I'm doing a whole bunch of that, online events, online recordings, and then whatever events open up, whether it's August or September or January or who knows, then we'll be back in business doing it. But until then, you hustle while you wait, and you make content, and you spread the message. That's it. All right. Anything else, Mark?
No.
Great. Welcome, and thank you for watching the Something to Prove podcast. Some people might just be joining.
Okay.
Go watch the Something to Prove podcast on iTunes and Stitcher.
You listen if it's on iTunes and Stitcher, but you can watch it on YouTube on Evan Carmichael's channel.
There you go. Is this one on here too? No, I don't know.
This is audio only. This is a bonus episode.
Oh, this is bonus. Actually, I think it'll be on the IG Live channel. I think this will go on the IG Live channel. So there'll still be some content there. Anyway, happy weekend, guys. Continue to crush it. Continue to believe. Go be extraordinary. And we'll see you on Monday.
Yes.
Ciao.